Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Pascal English School Larnaca. My name is James Palikaridis, and I'm a student in 3A. We have with us today Mr. Andreas Michail, who is a member of Bioland Energy, one of the leading providers in renewable energy in Cyprus. We're conducting this interview as a part of our European Union Erasmus Plus project entitled Education in the 21st Century, Innovating Methods of Teaching Mathematics and Science in the Face of New Challenges of Technology. Welcome, Mr. Michail.
Thank you very much.
Can you please describe what your company Bioland is involved with?
Bioland is involving renewable energy and more specifically in solar photovoltaics, in case anyone doesn't know. Okay.
Do many people in Cyprus install photovoltaic systems, and why?
Yes, it's quite recently that Cypriots came aware of solar, especially the last 3 years, and we are doing quite well now.
Is it expensive?
It costs about 5,000 euros. If we compare it with other European countries, it's cheap. And it's an ideal because the irradiation or the energy production, irradiation, that's how it's called, it's probably the best in Europe. So it's a very good investment for everybody to do it, especially for household, which has very many benefits. So it's very good.
We read somewhere there is an obligation of all EU member states to slowly switch to renewable energy. Are there any governmental incentives to installing these systems?
There are, not as much as they should have been, but there are. Especially for special classes of people that are in need, there is a subsidize for up to 2,700 for each household, which is about half the cost. And for bigger projects, there aren't any serious subsidization, but for household, yes, there is.
What are the benefits of installing a photovoltaic system?
In Cyprus, probably it's the best place to have photovoltaics. We produce energy from the sun that we have in Cyprus. It's not the sun, it's the light, basically, but we produce energy from something that we have plenty in Cyprus. So it's very cost-effective to produce electricity.
How much energy is produced on average per year, and what is the difference in price between what the Cyprus Electricity Authority gives to electricity production and what we normally pay for electricity?
The electricity that we produce from solar, if we compare it with the electricity produced from diesel, it used to be up to 3 times more now it is being reduced because of different of the prices of the diesel, but this is temporary. I would say about half the price now. And what was the second part?
Is there a difference in price between what the Cyprus Electricity Authority gives to electricity production and what we normally pay electricity?
Yes, so it's about half the price.
Is there a lot of maintenance for photovoltaic panels? Do they have a lot? Do they always produce the same amount of electricity?
Maintenance is the basic stuff, which is basically cleaning the panels, because we've got a lot of light, but we've got a lot of sun as well, and dust. So they collect a lot of dust. So we need to clean them. This is the basic stuff that we need to do, especially for home use. For bigger projects, that our company has megawatts, not which is big projects, needs maintenance. So basically, we need an electrician and somebody to clean them. So these are the basic stuff that the maintenance is minor. It's not a big
But
thing.
do they always produce the same amount of electricity?
No, there is a degradation, so-called degradation. So every year we have a reduction in the energy that is produced. So it's about 0.6% reduction in energy produced per year. So at year 20, the panels will produce about 81% of the original production. So there is a reduction in the energy.
In terms of space, what is required for such installations to be made?
The space, it depends on what, how big we want the project to be. For homes, the 3 kilowatts that we have at the moment, it's about 12 panels. 12 panels about the same size as the solar that we have for water heating. So it's about 17 meters to 20 meters for home use, and which we can, in most homes, we can install them.
What is the difference in terms of cost and output between the systems we see on rooftops and those large solar farms we see in fields?
It's the same case that is for everything, where we, for bigger projects, we use economies of scale. That's it, nothing else. The products are the same, but it's a bigger project, so the cost is reducing, I would say, from 1.4 to 1.1 maximum. So there is a reduction in the cost, but the costs are basically from the bigger projects, economies of scale.
What is your position in Bioland?
I am the finance manager, but at the moment I became a general manager as well. So I do both. I'm doing accounting, finance, and general manager. And okay.
What does somebody need to study to get a job in this industry?
It depends, as with other industries, what each person wants to become. If it's for specialized for solar, I would say it has to be electrical engineer, because we work with electricity. So the biggest thing is the electrical engineer, but there are special courses for solar that are it's called PV trim, and there are some specialized courses. But if you are an electrical engineer, you can do most of the work. Apart from that, it's the same as with other industries, which we need to have accounting, marketing, different departments, as all the companies. Okay.
Thank you.
We've got another project which is very interesting in the renewable sector, which is tire pyrolysis oil, which is we take tires. We've got the license, we haven't done it yet. It's something new and very good project. We will get tires, and we, with a treatment, special treatment, tire pyrolysis oil, we'll get the tire pyrolysis oil, and from then on, we'll manage to produce electricity from the tires at the end of the project, which is a quite promising project, and hopefully we'll have it ready in 2 years, which is a nice project, and we'll get the waste and produce it in electricity. And most probably it's going to be the first one in Europe as well. So it's something new and a nice project. Okay.
Does anyone have any questions they want to ask?
Why will it take so long, 2 years, to prepare for this project?
It's a big project. It needs a lot of investment, but apart from that, it needs a lot of research, and we have most of the licenses. We need a lot of licenses as well, because there is the security factor. We may have to make sure that everything works perfectly, and in order to secure the licenses, we need to prove to different departments that it's going to be for there won't be any side effects to people and to other interests like to employees, that it's going to be safe for employees to work there. So this is the most, it takes too long to secure licenses. And the same goes with the photovoltaics, the solar. And it took us about 2 years to secure licenses. With this project, it's been already 2 years, and I think we're going to need about 1 more year, and about a year to finalize it. So it's going to be about, my estimate is going to be around 1 to 2 years.
Will there be enough tires after a few years to be able to supply the energy source for this project?
It's a very good question. We tend to import as well tires from neighboring countries like Greece, which is very near, and
the Middle East.
And the Middle East. So it's.
I also have a question about the photovoltaic systems.
Yes.
On the way to Limassol in Scarino, just off the highway, we see a solar park which has solar scanning, tracking.
Tracking, yes,
solar tracking photovoltaic systems.
Yes.
How much more expensive is a system like this, and what is the return in extra energy that comes from tracking the sun rather than being fixed?
It's definitely more expensive because we need motors, it needs higher maintenance, so it's more expensive to maintain and to install it as well. It's about a bit less than 1.5 times the cost, but at the same time the extra benefit, energy, is about the same. So if it's somebody that is in the industry, I would say yes, go for it, but because it needs more maintenance. But if it's somebody that is got it as a second job or have a field installed part, I would say it's better to have the fixed ones, the simple ones with no machines, and just go for a cleaning. There are many times a lot of problems, like one motor is broken and they stay there. There are sensors, because like wind sensors, because it's a big thing. If in case of a lot of wind, they need to become flat for the resistance. So it's more complicated, but it generates more income.
Okay. Any other questions, Harry?
About photovoltaics,
Yeah.
how does, like, for example, light or sun energy can be contracted to electricity?
It's light. It's not the heat. Some the panels. It's like they collect the light, and then through the converters or inverters, they collect DC electricity, and through the inverters they convert it to AC electricity for home use. It's two things basically that we have: the panels and the inverter. The work is done by the inverter. And if you want, sometime you can arrange somewhere you can go and have a look at them.
Thank you very much. A lot of people think that if I have a photovoltaic system on my roof, I will be collecting the electricity to be using for myself at night.
Mm-hmm.
But I understand that requires a lot of batteries. And
no, if it's the current scheme that is called net metering, it's like you collect whatever you have and you give it to the electricity authority.
it goes in the network.
It goes in the network. The excess goes in the network, and the remaining I mean, the first part is used in the home,
In the daytime.
in the daytime, and the excess it goes into the electricity, in the network. Now, it's called net metering because it's usually net off. So you give when you have, and you collect from electricity authority when you need. So that's why it's called net metering. It's netting off at the end of each year. So it doesn't matter.
But they don't store.
You don't need batteries with this method. It's a very good method. It's up to the network, to the electricity to control it. So this is where the problem is with Cyprus. Because Cyprus, it's a small network, and we need to have stability. It's one of the main problems that we have in Cyprus. If we compare it with Europe, Europe is one big network, and it's much more easy to control it. In Cyprus, we don't have any other sources, just a small network. And the big problem is the instability on the demand and supply. So we need somebody to regulate it, to make sure that we don't have any cutoffs.
So what you mean is because Cyprus is a small country or small market, there is not such, there is a lot of fluctuation in the rate of absorbance of the produced energy during the day.
No, from like wind. At the moment, maybe there is no wind, so you have no electricity from wind. Suddenly there is wind, so there is a lot of more supply than what is the demand. So the regulator needs to regulate it, and especially from wind, because solar, we know in Cyprus we have everyday energy produced for 10 hours a day from during the daylight.
Summer,
yes. But with the wind, it's more unstable. You don't know when it's going to have wind, so there are problems there. And
that means they have to measure the amount of electricity coming from the renewable energy resources and cut back on the diesel that is being burned.
Yes, but the machines, they need, it's not just a switch and switched off. So this is the basic problem, and the basic thing that the electricity authority is claiming, because they don't want to change anything, because they have it good. So they don't want to change anything, and this is their basic argument. Whereas instead of thinking ways to regulate, they find the easy solution. There are solutions, but we need to work on them. With solar, it's better in Cyprus to have solar rather than wind. In the other case, with the entire period, all is oil. We're going to have electricity 24 hours, so there is no problem at all to have it in the system because it's going to be a stable production.
Thank you for your time. It was very interesting to have you here. It was very useful and your information you gave us.
Thank you very much as well.